Yeah, now I can hear you a bit better.
All right, how's that?
Go ahead.
So I'm Colleen Jones. I'm here today to talk about the perspective of the mind.
You're here to take on Ryan's question, huh?
I am.
My question for you today, Colleen. If men and women lived on two different planets, what would happen to both of these planets?
What would happen to both of these planets? Well, since there's no reproduction, I think that we would, mankind, female, male, they would not survive.
I think men would figure it out.
You think men would figure it out? Why do you?
Oh, yeah. We're problem solvers. That's what we've always done since the beginning of time. We figure it out.
So you don't think women are problem solvers?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
It just, from a man's perspective, I think the planet of men would figure out a way to reproduce scientifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that could very well be the case, but from a problem-solving standpoint, we're finding that more and more women are coming into the workforce and have been able to, be some of the strongest problem solvers. I see it firsthand every day.
Very true.
I work in a company and the top 5 managers are females. I work in the auto industry. So years ago, it was a male dominated world. And, women have definitely broke glass ceilings in that market. And it's because of their ability to be able to problem solve effectively. And we've been able to have, great advancements in the auto industry. And you'll find that a lot of them are attributed to women.
Well, what do you think would happen socioeconomically aside? And let's not even think about the reproductive part of these planets. How do you think that people would treat each other in comparison to one another's planets? So the planet full of men versus the planet full of women, do you think there'd be more teamwork on one or the other, or do you think it'd be kind of, same percentage?
I think there's going to be the same percentage of both, because I think that, I don't look at men and women as from a sex standpoint, their gender, I should say. I look at them as there's 4 different personality types. And those personality types are, you have your analytical people, you have your very driven people, you have those people that are, they're the cheerleader, let's just call them, and then you have your empaths and those people that are steady relators, and they're going to be in all four categories are going to be in both of those planets, so you call it, those genders. So no, I just think that we have a mixture within each gender.
Good answer. I don't even have a rebuttal to that. Well done. What about do you think that there'd be the same struggle for territory and resources that we see today, or do you think that things would be different on that aspect?
I think that both can be very territorial too. I think both sexes can, just think of women and how they're so protective of their children, right?
Fair point.
And maybe men, of course, are,
men are more legacy driven. Yeah, they're more legacy driven.
Ego driven.
Yeah.
Is there an ego? Is there pride? Is there, so maybe territorial, but in essence, it would be because of 2 different drivers. So if they're going to continue to have, men have to have egos. But let's think of it this way. If men didn't have to deal with women, would their behavior be totally different?
That was going to be my next question. Would women act different if there was no men?
Probably.
In what way?
Well, I think that are you trying to get a male's attention, so you're behaving a certain way? I mean, we're talking atypical person. I it's really hard to put that in perspective that there's no genders. I mean, think about that. Like, how could you, differentiating in genders, that how could you, after, your entire life, this is what you lived. It's, a few
It's a
seconds.
fun thought exercise, though, isn't it?
It's so hard to be able to say that, because if they're eliminated from that world, I just don't know. I think everybody wants to have, regardless of gender, like attention. You're going to have people who are going to want to have some, people drawn towards them. They want to be an extrovert. They want to have a lot of attention. You're going to have your introverts, right? So
This is true.
it's a very tough subject to have. I actually wouldn't want to see it happen.
No, well, I like this thought exercise. I think it's a fun way to kind of pick and see what kind of person each other is. Now, on the planet with men, do you think that men behave differently because there's no women?
I would think so.
In what ways?
I think they would want to. They would focus more attention on skills that would improve their lives, as opposed to some other aspects of men that they typically focus their attention on.
Okay. A lot more energy would be expelled at gaining skills and figuring out problems like how to make a baby with a machine. Yeah.
I think that maybe they'd be more logic based than they currently are. I don't know, hunting. And I mean, think of it this way. There's been centuries of, just men going off to war. I mean, essentially they're living on their own planet. There was no women on battlefields at one point in time, and they were gone for extended periods of time.
Decades sometimes.
How did they behave, right? I mean, I'm sure there was heated arguments, and they were argumentative, and they were.
No, we get along great.
Ego.
I've been there. I've been there. I've lived a life that has put me in a situation where it was all men, and we occasionally fought, and it was mainly over food.
There you go.
Just saying. I mean, we didn't argue much, and if we did get into a fight, someone ate your cheese. Now we got to throw hands, dude. I want my cheese.
And then they were over it in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. My best friend in the world, I punched him square in the mouth, and then he tackled me and put me in a headlock. Hit me like 3 or 4 times. Love that guy. What's up, Curtis?
Everything was fine.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Curtis.
Yeah. See you at 2:30, dude. He's losing weight and I'm gaining weight, so we're gonna box when we both hit 2:30. Still my best friend. But nice. I mean, we lived on a planet without women. But
you did.
Kind of, yeah. We were deployed together, and it was just the boys, boys club.
Mm-hmm. For an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I suppose that could take place, and I'm sure that there's situations where women. Think of female prisons.
Well, look at. You can go there too, but I was thinking more like the nuns in the monasteries. They live a life mainly surrounded by women in a world of women,
Mm-hmm. They also have the element of God, right? So there's the spiritual religious aspect, which I think in both planets is key and important, because it definitely helps either strengthen or divide any community, in my opinion.
That leads me to a really fun question. What do the gods look like what's the contrast to the gods or deities of each planet?
I don't know. I think it's individual again. I think your God is whoever you believe in.
But do you think that the planet of women take on more of a womanly figured God?
Well, how would they even know what a man
looks like? They even know
like?
what a man is, so it would have to be a female, right?
It would have to be some whether it takes a form or it's a symbol.
Well, religion was just like going back to what we said before. Back in the day, religion was implemented by men. It was never implemented by women. Like original religion, even going to the earliest one, the Mormon religion, John Smith, implemented by men. So that's a fun way to get there.
Mm-hmm. So men influenced religion, which then it took a male dominated form.
Yeah. And politics as well.
True.
So both things would probably look a lot different.
Well, I think that as long as there's freedom of who you believe in both of these planets, I think different subculture groups are going to believe in some higher power, positive or none at all, in different forms, in different ways. Some may think that a tree is representative of the higher power. Some the sun. Some maybe female form. I think it's all going to be different for each.
I feel like that the planet of men would be more practical and efficient, then the planet of women would be more well thought out and empathetic. That's how I feel about it. I feel that the planet with women would be more in touch with
Feeling.
the inner self and the feeling of the community and the others, while the planet of men would focus primarily on innovating and advancing themselves to get to the planet of women. We'd be like, there's gotta be a planet out here somewhere with some chicks.
But that takes us back to something that I talked about, I think last week with you, that I think that we have to stop identifying men in that logical standpoint and women are in that emotional standpoint, because then that doesn't allow people to feel as though they have the permission to be feeling based. I think that it's as a society, and especially I actually have empathy for men. I really do, because I just think that there's no avenue, or the avenues that are out there for them to kind of deal with some feeling based stuff that they hide in a logic form. There's an embarrassment. You don't want to show vulnerability. You don't want to, they don't talk to each other. It's sort of closed off. And I just don't think that that's healthy. And I think that as a society, even talking in today's world, we should stop doing that and not have it that men are the logical and women are the emotional. We all have both within us. We just need to make it acceptable. We need to have. Yeah.
I can agree with that. But we also have to recognize there's a such thing as nature, and then there's also a such thing as nurture. Mm-hmm. And naturally, men are a little bit more. I don't even want to tiptoe around this, but men are a little bit more logical, where women are more empathetic. And it's okay to recognize that as being, a baseline character format to say, just like where I live, there's people like to hike, people like to hunt. It's not classifying anything. It's where they live. If you didn't like to do that stuff, you would have moved to a city somewhere. So I think that where the danger comes in is when we handcuff you to you have to be, or you should be, or it's fortunate that we live in a country and in a time of age where we can worry about that. That's the thing that we're worried about. It's not, what was that went bump in the night that might drag me out of my little shitty wooden hut and eat me or eat my baby? No, it's, why can't we be more sensitive as men? Why can't women be more assertive as women? I don't think that it's not a problem that people in the third world would deal with.
No, not at all. You're in survival mode. I mean, when you create a culture that grows and expands and learn and knowledge and all those things come into play, then you can start thinking of some other things. And, I think even as parents, you need a critical parent and a nurturing parent. You need both. Sometimes the man takes on the critical parent role, the woman takes on the nurturing parent role. Sometimes it's vice versa. But I think it's exciting that in today's world, they can flip flop into either one. And then as a single parent trying to take on both roles,
That's ridiculous.
it's hard because
Yeah.
it's, I can speak for myself. I have a split personality. You
You almost need it.
I want to be nurturing, but someone needs to be the disciplinarian. So I think, if we want to relate back to the Bible, and I don't know what passage it is, but there's scripture that states that, a child needs a man and a woman, a parent, a father and a mother, because to guide them, that critical, that disciplinarian and that nurturer.
I always say children need beat, and they need to know why they're being beat. They don't need to be beat excessive. I'm not saying kick them when you walk by. Once in a while, a little, it teaches them something, Well, and then let them know, like, hey, you wouldn't have gotten hit if you stopped when I told you to stop, but you didn't want to stop, so now that's your, things have consequences in life. Because in the real world, you will get punched in the mouth for doing some egregious things.
Mm-hmm. Well, there'd be a lot of controversy about that, especially our viewers to say, beating should still be acceptable, because there is a lot of psychology behind really, the effects of slapping a child, and is it really successful, right? Is there better formats? I mean, a child is misbehaving because there's an underlying reason. And when you find out I'm not against having, discipline, my father was military. Of course we were disciplined. I think it's a need. Everything can't be, everybody wins the prize kind of society, right? I mean, you definitely need to have discipline in children and teach them right from wrong. It's just, I'm going to tell you, as a parent, I struggle with it. Did I ever hit my child? Yeah, I did. Did I regret it? Yes, I did. I don't think it solved the problem.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that when I really found out that what they were crying for was my attention, it wasn't necessary. They're looking for strokes. They're looking for attention, whether it be positive or negative.
Did you behave well as a child?
For the most part.
I did not. At all.
For the most part.
At all. Mm-hmm. If you tell me no, that meant okay.
Well, you were looking for attention.
No.
Really?
I like to get in trouble. I like to do bad shit because it was fun. Period. I like to have fun, and the things that I like to do, you can't go out after a certain amount of time. Well, all my buddies got out. I'm going out.
Well, you were defiant.
Defiant, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Usually they say that there's a whole segment on child order too, and sometimes they say that the first child is going to do everything right, perfect, right? They want to be the rule follower, and then the second child comes in, and they're going to be the one that's going to be the rebellious one, because
I'm the oldest.
Well, it could go it could flip.
Yeah.
It could flip too. So there's definitely something about. And you may say it's not because you wanted attention. I don't know. But you want to be the opposite, And, the next one, your next sibling could come in and do everything perfect, right? And follow all the rules of the house, because that's how they got their attention. You got attention.
For being the good one.
They got the attention for being the good one, right? See, Mom, I'm the good one.
So labels aren't just left at gender. We label people and children and each other all the time. Constantly. Eddie's a nice guy. Mark is mean. Colleen's a sweet lady. Ryan's a weird dude. We do that all the time, not just with gender, but it's dangerous, is it not? Or is it just part of what we do?
It's absolutely dangerous, because it's perception versus reality are two different things. Absolutely. So. We should not be labeling people. And we're not just one label. I mean, we have a whole slew of ingredients within us. We're so, multi-faceted. It's just a matter of getting to know people and really finding out what makes them tick and who they are. And you'll find some fascinating things about people. So it shouldn't just be one label, right? I'm good, I'm bad, I'm this, I'm that. We all bring something to the table.
Yes, we do, without a doubt. You want to play Ryan Has a Question one more time? I got one more if you want it.
I'll bring it.
You want it? Okay. Would you, this is a good one though. Are you sure you're ready for it?
I'm ready for anything.
All right. Would you open an envelope that has the date of your death?
Of course I would.
You would?
Absolutely. I'm
You'd
not
wanna
afraid
know?
of death.
But you would want to know the day? Like, you're going to die tomorrow. Would it change what you were doing today?
I can't say that. It probably would. But yeah, absolutely. Would I want to open the envelope with the date of my death? Sure. Because we fear death as a society. And why? Why do we fear death? Death is a part of life. And then you're making room for the next generation. And who knows where you're going to go? Maybe it's a whole new journey. How exciting.
But don't you think that, like, the joy of life is the ignorance of death almost? Like kids are so happy because they don't think they're going to die. When you're in your 20s, you think you're bulletproof and you're going to live forever. It's a joyous time. When you get into your 50s and your 60s, your 70s, if you didn't take care of yourself, yeah, you're terrified now that, oh God, what's going to be next? Am I going to get the flu and die? Am I going to?
No,
So
I make some really good decisions. I know when the end's coming.
Be a lot easier to plan for retirement, huh?
I mean, I think it's perfect. Make a good list, my bucket list, how much money I have, what I'm going to need. Yeah. Then I'll know exactly how much I need to survive. Right, retirement. No, I think we're all going to die someday.
So you would want to know when.
Scary thing. Why does it have to be scary? Why do people make death so bad?
I don't think that we make it so bad. I think that it's because life is so good. It's something that the end is. It's not the beginning of death that is terrifying as much as it is the end of this life.
My daughter was
That
3
scares
years
most
old
of
and
us.
she asked me about death, or 4 years old. She said, she talked about dying, and I explained some things to her. And she said, "So your old end is your new beginning?" And I said, "Yes." She was 4. Your old end is your new beginning. It's a new beginning.
Kids are so smart.
It's a new chapter.
I think I'm going to start having 4 to 6 year olds as my guests from now on.
Well, she's 17 now, so she's very profound. So
Yeah. I have an 18-year-old daughter. This new generation to me is, they are so much more self-aware than what my generation and the generations prior to me was. But they don't do much to address their flaws at the same time. It's like, I have social anxiety and depression. Wow, you're 19 and you know that. That's amazing. So what are you doing to fix it? Absolutely nothing. I just want you to know so you know how to act around me. It's like, oh man, now I got something I got to deal with. Like, I'm from the generation where I got problems. I don't know what they are, but I just try to hide them till I get home real quick and, go into manic mode or whatever you do. But
no, I don't think it's necessary of hiding it, and I think it's becoming
dealing with it in private.
It's like a trophy on a shelf. I have, and I'm not. Again, I am totally sympathetic. I mean, we all have mental health issues. I have my own. But like you said, it's not a trophy on a shelf, right? Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a badge of honor.
It's almost like they're collecting them.
Right. And I don't disagree with that because I deal with it firsthand. And it's about what's the work are you putting in to, help you through this? Because, and again, maybe it's not a bad thing. ADHD, people say maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe that's a gift. Maybe it allows you to do other things that some people wouldn't,
I've often looked at ADHD as being the unrecognized evolution of mankind.
Absolutely. If that
Same
person
with autism as well.
Absolutely. If that person was born thousands of years ago with what they now describe as ADHD, maybe they would be a phenomenal hunter.
Or philosopher, or
whatever.
writer, or
It's just trying to sit within social norms right now and the boxes that we've created. I don't like boxes.
Yeah.
Everybody is special. Everybody brings something to the table.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't need to recognize you for being special. You don't need a special treatment. Everyone doesn't get that. You have to do, to me, there are people out there that are extraordinary and they deserve to be treated extraordinary or maybe paid attention to a little bit more than others. I don't think that everybody should have a voice. I don't think everybody needs to be heard. I think everybody should have a place to go to spout out whatever they want. Hey, look at me now. But I don't think that every voice needs a platform and every platform needs to be promoted because not every voice is useful.
That's
I mean, a lot of the people that you see now on the internet giving you life advice or motivational speakers, they haven't done nothing. They've never even failed. They start out with a trust fund and then decided to be, or whatever. They do internet clips and they do well with it. But have some experience before you tell somebody who's going through some shit how to deal with it.
true. Yeah, I agree. Some people, they want to see that there's hope, or there's a real life example of something that they can come through the other side. So you're right. There's maybe I think it's if you're bringing in value, have a voice. If you're bringing value, if you can actually help another human being,
Or be funny.
or be funny,
We need humor. We all need to laugh.
comedy helps too. That brings
Hell yeah.
value.
Well, speaking of value, we're going to go with my very last question. It's my favorite question. If money had no meaning, what would you do with your life?
Money had no meaning.
Or no value. Money had no value. What would you do with your time, your life?
Anything I can do to help other people, anything. I just charity work, a variety of charity, and you can't call it charity work because I don't know, any type of,
In what way?
I don't know. I think a lot of different ways, wherever I would need diversity in doing, working with different people, and helping different people. I can't say one particular thing. Because money has no value, so I'm trying to think of something. Like I'm working with the homeless shelter right now. That's exciting for me, right? But money has no value, so I don't know what charity.
No value to you. Money still exists. It's just money has no value to you anymore. What do you do?
Okay.
How do you spend your time? I get people to stop slamming doors while I'm doing podcasts.
I think that
I know karate.
I think I would probably want to do something with the women in crisis. Definitely.
With women in crisis.
I do. I think that's
Profound answer.
yeah.
Why women in crisis?
It's
Why is that your choice?
Well, I think that they were there for me when I needed them, and I think that they are a valuable tool. And I know I can relate on how you feel when you're in a very toxic environment and how small you feel. And I just think that it would. I can relate and describe things that they're feeling firsthand that nobody else who hasn't been there would be able to comprehend. And then to show them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and that they matter, right? I think it's really important for people to understand how much they matter. That's, how valuable you are, how your life is so valuable. When you're in those types of situations, you just feel like you don't matter and your life is not valuable, that, you're not afraid of death. You're not.
Yeah. You're lost in the mundane.
And, well, it's worse than that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that I want to just be able to help those. I think it's a phenomenal organization, by the way, and I just want to help people who are in that situation.
Now, when you were helped by that organization, were a lot of the volunteers, were they also past, clients?
I think some of them were. I can't say that all of them were, but some were. They also had their psychology or psychiatric backgrounds. They were professionals, but there were other individuals that were also there that had experienced some level of abuse.
Very cool. I think it's really good when people go back and try and pay it forward after they've received a handout. I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
It's something that I try to do myself. Just as you climb the ladder, occasionally every couple rungs, turn around and see if there's anyone behind you that could use they might be struggling. So really appreciate your time, Colleen. This was a really fun little conversation.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, everyone. This has been another curious conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.